Hello, this video is the installation guide for LG's innovative dual-view curved tiling OLED signage. Before starting, let me introduce the core technology of this product, OLED. Why are people fascinated with OLED? Since OLED has no backlight unit and liquid crystal, OLED is unbelievably thin and greatly light compared to earlier panels. OLED's image pixels are self-lighting, making blacks truly black and making colors pop. OLED shows clear images from any viewing angle and has greater flexibility in design. LG brings this revolutionary OLED technology to commercial displays, providing three main OLED signage products to meet the variety of business needs. First, dual-view flat OLED signage. Second, dual-view curved tiling OLED signage. And third, wallpaper OLED signage. The product I will introduce to you in this video is dual-view curved tiling OLED signage. Dual-view curved tiling OLED signage is an artistic structure, a combination of high picture quality and design. With its thinness and curved design, it makes every place unique and iconic. Also, with its modulate structure, the signage can be installed in three options: 1x2, 1x3, 1x4 to fit your place. In this video, I will tell you how to install 1x4 tiling option. But don't worry, 1x2 and 1x3 tiling options also follow the same flow, so this video will be helpful to everyone in installing the product. Dual-view curved tiling OLED signage is consisted of the combination of three main components. First, stand and board. Second, OLED module. And third, exterior cover. So the installation of the product is mainly progressed through the following three steps. First, stand and board installation. Second, cabling and OLED module attachment. And third, exterior cover assembly. I will start with the first step, stand and board installation. Let's start with the unboxing. In this first step, you need both of the following boxes: a stand box and an exterior cover box. Let's start with the stand box. Carefully open the stand box with a box cutter. These are the components in the stand box: two shields for power supply unit, two power supply units, two main board assemblies, a stand frame, a stand base, two stand cover fixers, and 12 stand frame fixers. These are the components inside one stand box. So in order to assemble the 1x4 array, please prepare 4 boxes in total. And this big box is the exterior cover box. There are many components here, including the exterior cover, but I will explain some of the components we will use in this step. Please take out an accessory package box, a side base package box, a jack cover package box, a fixer and supporter package box, and 2 interface boards. First, the accessory package box contains all accessories, including the cables and screws for installation, 8 14-pin power cables, 8 15-pin power cables, 8 AC power inlet cables, 6 DP cables, 8 RJ45 LAN cables, 8 4-pin stereo cables, 2 3-pin stereo cables, 8 AC power cables, 2 HDMI cables, an RS232C cable, an IR sensor, 20 fans, cable holders, 20 PS plates, different types of screws, different types of tapes, a remote control, and a simple manual. Secondly, inside the fixer and supporter package box, there are 8 stand cover supporters, 6 stand base fixers, and 4 stand side fixers. The third box is the jack cover package box with a left jack cover and a right jack cover inside. Fourthly, inside the side base package box, you will find 2 side bases. And last but not least, make sure you have 2 interface boards. Wow, there are so many components, but don't be discouraged. This video is here for you to take all the steps one by one, making it easier for you to install this product. Now, let's get started with the stand base and frame assembly, which will become the main framework of dual-view curved tiling OLED signage. What you see now is the top of the stand base. Set up the frame fixtures on the top of the stand base, matching the screw hole. Then fasten loosely first with 2 black M3 8mm screws each. You need 12 stand frame fixtures, which are needed to fix the frames. Next, on the each end of the stand, hang 2 stand cover fixtures and fasten with a white M3 5.5mm screw each. Now, let's combine the frame. Before combining, please loosen 10 bolts on top and bottom part of the frame by turning them a little. Please look closely at the top of the frame. Can you see an O mark on one side and a V mark on the other? O mark means concave and V mark means convex. Fold the O marked side inside slightly and insert the frame so that it fits the gap lines between the stand frame fixtures. If you tap the insides using a small hammer, you can combine more easily. Fix the bottom part of the frame using the white M3 5.5mm screws. And tightly fasten the black M3 8mm screws, which were loosely fastened on the stand frame fixtures. And then, open the rest of the 3 stand and board boxes and make 3 more stands with the same progress. It's not that difficult, is it? It's time to connect each stands together. First, arrange the concave part on the left and the convex part on the right. Now, let's use the stand cover supporter to connect each 4 stand. Put the supporters at the front and the rear side of the frames. And fasten the supporter with 2 white M3 5.5mm screws. Make sure you insert the part with the small hole in the middle to the left and the long hole to the right side. And then, also fasten 2 stand base fixtures with 2 white M3 5.5mm screws. Combine the rest of the stands with the remaining stand cover supporters and stand base fixers. The backbone of the dual-view curved tiling OLED signage is complete. Now let's move to the next step. Let's continue on. The side base and jack cover combination. This is the side base. Insert 2 stand side fixtures to the poles and fix with 4 white M3 5.5mm screws. Please do this for both the right and left side bases. And connect the side base and the stand by putting the side base on the holes and fasten with 2 white M3 5.5mm screws. Then, to support the exterior covers, which will be installed later, combine 1 more stand cover supporter to each side base using the white M3 5.5mm screws. Attach the EMI sheet, which is used to shut out electromagnetic waves, to the left side bases, and also the front part of stand bases joints. Using white M3 5.5mm screws, install 5 cable holders each per one side of the stand. This is how it looks when the stand side bases and the cable holders installation is complete. Next, let's combine the jack cover. We will install this left cover first for interface connection, and then install this right cover later. Let's take a look at the left cover. You can see that this 1x4 tiling product needs 4 AC power inlets and IR, HDMI, LAN, RS232C inputs for each front and back side. I will start with the AC power inlet connection. Insert 4 AC power inlets and fix them with 2 black M3 6mm countersunk screws each. During this step, you have to connect the cables from longest to shortest, starting from the inside. The longest one is for the 4th panel, which is placed the furthest. The shortest one is for the 1st panel, which is placed the nearest. And then, install 2 fans on the jack cover to circulate the heat within the product and fasten it with 4 white M3 5.5mm screws. Fix the jack cover using 3 black M3 5.5mm screws. And fix each power cables with a black M4 8mm screw. And don't forget to organize the cables with the cable holder. Shall we move on to the interface board installation? You are now looking at interface board, which will be installed at the inner part of the jack cover. And there are IR, HDMI, LAN, and RS-232C input and output ports. Install the front and rear interface boards on the jack cover and fasten them with 4 white M3 5.5mm screws. Take an EMI sponge from the interface board and remove the sticker. Place it between the gap of the jack cover and the interface board. This step is for strengthened electromagnetic ground. Finally, the last step of the stand and board installation, the power board installation. This is a power supply unit, also known as a power board for a display panel. As we are now installing a dual view 1x4 product, we need 8 power boards in total. Place each power board at the stand base and fasten the 7 marked spots with white M3 5.5mm screws. This time, connect the opposite port of the AC inlet cables to the power board. Next, let's install the power supply unit shield, also known as the PSU shield, for power board protection. First, install 2 fans at the shield with 4 white M3 5.5mm screws each. Cover the shield on top of the power board and fasten 4 edges using the white M3 5.5mm screws. Install the remaining 7 power boards and the PSU shields in the same method. Now, the installation is complete, including the power supply unit. You did a great job. Let's move on to the second step of the installation of dual view curved tiling OLED signage, cabling, and OLED module attachment. We will start from unboxing and check the required components. This is an OLED module box. Carefully open the box using a box cutter. These are the components in the box: a center frame, 2 OLED panels, 2 T-cons, a frame bar, a side middle cabinet to fix the center frame, white M3 3.5mm screws, 40 zigs. Also, you need the remaining cables such as HDMI or LAN cables, which are in the accessory package box. We will start from the center frame and main board installation. What you are looking at now is the center frame, which is needed when you attach the panel. Lift up the center frame by lifting up both sides and carefully insert it between the upper gaps of the stand frame. And combine 10 M5 bolts at the joint where the center frame and the stand frame are connected. And fix them on the opposite side using M5 nuts. Attach 5 PS plates to the lower hole of the center frame, matching it to the hole to prevent panel damage. Remove the vinyl of the center frame. Repeat the same steps 3 more times to install 1x4 product. You are now looking at all 4 center frames combined. Now, let's firmly fasten the center frame. Attach the side middle cabinet at the back of the left edge of the center frame and fasten with 20 white M3 3.5mm screws. Next, insert the frame bar to the joints of the center frames Put left side of the bar on the previous frame and right side on the next frame. Fasten it from both front and rear side using 20 M3 3.5mm screws each. It is time to install a main board. This main board assembly is included in the stand box I introduced to you earlier. First, install a main board assembly required for a panel to the stand frame. To start with, fix two white M3 5.5mm screws on the two left pillars of the stand frame. Then, hang the main board assembly using the hole on the upper part. Lastly, tighten the remaining two white M3 5.5mm screws on the lower part. Repeat the same steps 8 times on the front and back side of the product. Are you following us? Great! Remove the tape and cables on the main board assembly. These are 24-pin cable, 51-pin FFC cable, 41-pin FFC cable, 3 fan extension cables. First, I will tell you how to connect the 51-pin, 41-pin FFC cable. Connect them in the following order from the left. 51-pin, 41-pin FFC cable. The longer one is the 51-pin FFC cable. Open the port's cover. Connect the 51-pin cable and then close it. Let's repeat this on the 41-pin FFC cable. Then, use the fan extension cable to connect the main board with the fan of the jack cover. And the 2 fans attached on the PSU shield. To do so, connect the jack cover's fan and the main board first, and then connect remaining 2 fans attached on the PSU shield to the main board. From the second main board, you do not have to connect the jack cover's fan. Just connect the 2 fans on the each PSU shield. Don't forget to organize cables using cable holders as well. Lastly, connect the opposite port of 24-pin power cable, which was already connected to the right bottom port of the main board. Now, the main board and power board connection is complete. The next step is daisy chain setting. To explain easily and in detail about the daisy chain setting, I will use the daisy chain system map, which you can see now. Let's number the main boards, starting from the nearest one from the interface board, number 1, 2, 3, and 4. The IR input signal is connected to the IR of the main board number 1. Likewise, the RS232C signal also gets connected to the RS232C in of mainboard number 1. Both the IR and the RS232C input signal moves through the RS232C out to the RS232C in of the mainboard number 2. The same progress goes through, connecting to mainboard number 3 and 4. In this way, all displays can be controlled at once using a single remote control. Network signals are transmitted through RJ45 LAN cable. Starting from the interface board connected to the main board number 1, each main board is connected one by one in an in-out order. In the case of video signals, it is transmitted to the number 1 main board through HDMI connection, and afterwards, it is transmitted through daisy chain by connecting DP cable. The rear side daisy chain setting can be done in the same way. Okay, let's move on to the actual cabling. Let's start with IR and RS232C setting. Out of the 2 cables shown on the screen, the one on the left is the 2-line 3-pin stereo cable, and the one on the right is the 3-line 4-pin stereo cable. You're not confused, right? Let's begin then. First, plug the 3-pin stereo cable into the IR terminal of the interface board, and plug the opposite terminal into the IR terminal of the main board number 1. Then, plug the 4-pin stereo cable into the RS232C terminal, and plug the opposite terminal into the RS232C in of the main board number 1. Third, Plug the LAN cable into the LAN terminal and plug the opposite terminal into the LAN in of main board number 1. Lastly, plug the HDMI cable into the HDMI terminal and plug the opposite terminal into the HDMI of main board number 1. Now, let's connect main board number 1 and 2. First, connect 4-pin stereo cable into RS232C out and connect the opposite terminal into RS232C in of board number 2. This cable transmits all IR and RS232C signals. Second, connect LAN cable into LAN out and connect the opposite terminal into the LAN in of the board number 2. Lastly, instead of the HDMI cable, connect the DP cable into DP out and connect the opposite terminal into the DP in of the board number 2. Connect the main board number 2, 3, 4 in the same method. The daisy chain setting is finished. Next, let's move on to OLED panel attachment. This is an OLED panel. Since the panel has to be handled with extreme care, please make sure that more than 2 people work on it. Before attaching the panel to the center frame, please attach jigs to the upper part and the sides of the center frame for precise position guide. Let's lift up the panel. First, attach the absorber to the top of the panel. We recommend you to use this absorber to lift up the panel conveniently and safely. One of the installation crew should hold the styrofoam with the panel at around 70 degrees. The other person can stabilize the styrofoam using his feet. Using the absorber, lift up the panel carefully and attach the OLED panel using the magnet of the frame. If there are more helpers, it will be attached more easily and evenly. Next is T-Con connection. What you are seeing now is the T-Con included in the OLED module box. Hang the T-Con using the screws located below the OLED panel. Then fasten it with 4 white M3 5.5mm screws. You are now looking at the FFC cable attached on the OLED panel. Plug this into the 4 upper parts of the T-Con in order. Slightly bend down the port's cover, insert the cable, and close the cover. The same goes for the 4 cables. The FFC cable connects the panel and T-Con for panel control. Now, let's connect the T-Con and the main board. First, connect the opposite terminal of the 41-pin, 51-pin FFC cable, which was already connected to the main board on the T-Con in order. To provide power on T-Con, connect the 14-pin power cable in the following order: power board and the top right part of T-Con. Then, connect the 15-pin power cable in the same way from the power board to the T-Con. One panel has completely been attached. Please take into notice that since this product has panels overlapping each other, tests are needed before attaching the next panels. Insert an IR sensor in the accessory package box to the jack cover and connect the power cable for power supply. Next, let's turn on the power by pressing the power button on the remote control. After passing through the initial setting stages, such as language and region, please make sure that the no signal sign appears. It is convenient to check for panel defect and find the next attachment area when the colorful screen appears. After checking that the first panel is working well, move on to attaching the second panel. The second panel can be attached in the same way as the first panel. The only difference is that before attaching the panel, the attaching area has to be fitted precisely using the magnet tape in the accessory package box. Making sure that the overlapping part of the panel does not cover the screen, Attach the magnet tape based on the black line of the right side of the first panel. After attaching the tape, attach the second panel. Connect T-con and finish panel test as well. Do the same process for third panel. Before attaching the fourth panel of the front side, attach a tape at the end of the right-hand side of the third panel in a way that doesn't cover the screen. The reason is to prevent the display from coming off of the frame. After attaching around 10 tapes, attach the last panel. After attaching the fourth panel, please tape the right end of the panel and the side of the frame so that the panel can be completely attached to the frame. Move the IR sensor to the rear side port. Attach the rear panels in the same way. All panels of the dual view curved tiling OLED signage are completely attached. The beauty is ripening. We are almost towards the end. 2 out of 3 steps of the installation is complete. Now, let's move on to the last step, exterior cover assembly. First, unboxing. First, I will introduce the components required for exterior cover assembly. Reopen the exterior cover box introduced earlier and take out the following components: 2 stand O covers and 2 stand V covers, an aluminum deco box, an acrylic box, 2 stand side covers, and 1 remaining jack cover. If you open the aluminum deco box, you will see an aluminum left top deco, an aluminum right top deco, 2 aluminum side decos, 2 aluminum bottom O decos, 2 aluminum bottom V decos. And inside the acrylic deco box, you will see 2 acrylic top O decos, 2 acrylic top V decos, 2 acrylic bottom O decos, 2 acrylic bottom V decos. And also, please prepare 19 pairs of bottom deco fixers from the exterior cover box. Shall we get started with assembly of the exterior covers? First, let's look at bottom deco assembly. For your safety, please make sure that the power is off. You are now looking at the aluminum bottom deco. Attach it to the lower part of panel and fasten them with 20 pairs of M5 40mm bolts and nuts. Since the deco requires to be attached on the front and the rear side simultaneously, it is convenient if more than 4 people work on it. And fasten the bottom deco fixer on the bottom deco using black M3 6mm countersunk screws. Assemble 19 fixers in the front side and 19 in the rear side. Shall we move on? Next step is the top and side deco assembly. First, insert 2 aluminum top decos to the upper part of the panel, fitting with a curve shape. Insert 2 aluminum side decos to the both sides of the product. Please tighten it at the bottom part using an M5 40mm bolt and nut each. Lastly, fasten the top decos from the upper part using 3 black M3 6mm countersunk screws, 3 places in total. Finally, the long-awaited last step, stand cover assembly. First, please flip the stand covers and adjust them according to the shape. Then, use 6 black M3 8mm screws to connect the joints. Unflip the connected stand covers and place them carefully on top of the set. Then, fasten 7 black M3 6mm countersunk screws on the left jack cover. Then, put left and right stand side covers on the both end and fasten with 7 black M3 6mm countersunk screws each. Fix the upper part of the stand cover using 22 white M3 5.5mm screws each. And put another jack cover on the right side, which has already 2 fans attached, using 7 black M3 6mm countersunk screws. place 2 pairs of acrylic top O and V decos on the top part of the stand cover and press lightly to tighten them. Finally, attach 2 pairs of acrylic bottom O and V decos on both front and back. The installation is over. Congratulations! The installation of dual-view curved tiling OLED signage is complete. Now, lastly, let's play content on the dual-view curved tiling OLED signage by using SuperSign OLED, an exclusive software for OLED products. First, let's start with network setting. Connect the dual-view curved OLED signage to the PC or the server using an RJ45 LAN cable. Turn the power on using the remote control. As we have already completed the initial settings during the panel test, the no signal screen appears when we turn on the display. In order to enter IP address of the PC or the server, press the setting button on the remote control for 5 seconds and press 0000 to enter into signage setup. As you can see, this product supports IR LAN daisy chain, so you can control several displays at once and send data using a single remote control. In the signage setup, turn the LAN daisy chain on. Next, please move to the server menu. Cancel the auto set and enter in the IP address of the PC or the server. It's not too difficult, is it? And let's identify IP addresses of each display. This step is important because you will need the display's IP address in order to distribute content using the SuperSign OLED software. This time, press the setting button of the remote control, moving into the setting menu. Get into Wired Connection under the network. In this menu, you can check the network information of each display. Press Edit and uncheck Auto Set. If the setting is set as Auto Set, the display's IP address changes every time you turn the product off and on. And check the IP address and make a note of it. Since you need to distinguish the displays in the SuperSign OLED software by IP addresses, please do not forget to check all the display's IP addresses. Display setting for the content playback is complete. Now, let's use the SuperSign OLED software to distribute content in the OLED signage. SuperSign OLED is a free web-based software for remote control and content distribution of OLED signage. Start the SuperSign OLED. Choose language and type password 6 zeros. First, let's import content in the PC. Click Content on the left side and press the Import button. You can check the content folders on your PC. Select Content to play. Uploading is complete. You can upload multiple files simultaneously. And then you have to register each display in the SuperSign OLED. Click Player on the left and then press Player Search button. Player means OLED displays in this time. Check on the displays you want to register and add them. Now you can see the registered displays. Now, let's distribute the content registered in the SuperSign OLED and play them. Click on Distribution on the left side and click Create New. Enter file information such as title and description. Then select Display Type and Direction. Based on display type, the distribution file can be divided into Dual View Curved Tiling and Wallpaper and Dual View Flat. Select Dual View Curved Tiling and then select Row 1 and Columns 4. After selecting row and column, select Distribution Item to Content Normal from the Content Normal Content Playlist menu. Click the plus button or drag the content from the content list to the component. If you distribute content in all rows and columns and press the next button, you can see the screen in which you can match the content to the players, i.e. displays. Seeing the IP address written down earlier, click the plus button on the player list or drag it to align display in each component. Distribution button will be activated after matching all displays. Finally, press the distribution button and content distribution is complete. Wow! The selected content are being played on the front displays. Isn't it simple? The rear displays work in the same way. Until now, you've learned about how to install LG Dual View Curved Tiling OLED signage. Now we wish to enhance the level of your place by using this beautiful and innovative product. The signage you choose has the power to move hearts and minds. LG OLED signage.